So today we will be covering Secrets of Inner Peace from number 15 till 21. So I think we will be posting them in the chat section too, so everyone can view them. I just did that. So starting with secret number 15. So secret of inner peace is acting in freedom from your inner center and not in bondage to the world's demands. It is true, it is difficult also, acting in freedom from your inner center, not in bondage to the world's demands. Because the world will keep demanding from you different things. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. This is how things every time work. And the pressure is also there. For example, even when you start to meditate, you will see that those who don't meditate will not support you in that. They will keep saying, why are you doing this? This is not how people do it. You are too young to meditate, or you are too old to meditate, or something or the other. The demands of the world will keep going on. So inner center and acting in freedom to that. Now this inner center is not your ego. It is the divine spark of God within you, where you refer all your actions to. It is the divine will which we are trying to follow. So when we act in freedom from our inner center, it will give us inner peace because we will be in tune with divine will. When we are not in tune with divine will, our peace, our joy reduces. An example for this would be, let me see. Yeah, for many of us who are in the monastery, even wanting to become a monk or initiating that process was in a way acting not in bondage to the world's demands, and you will feel opposition even to that, even from well-meaning people, because they are still the world's demands and it is going in a direction opposite to it. But still, if it is your inner calling, divine will, not egoic one, it takes acting from inner freedom and your center. Kriya Yoga, the practice of Kriya Yoga, pranayama, any practice which brings your energy in the spine helps with that. So we can always try that. Swamiji said, not just for inner peace, but for anything, if we act from that inner center, learning things is easier because you are not swayed either way, you are not biased in any direction. From here, you can go wherever God wants you to go. Secret number 17. 16 will be covered by Brahmachari Premdas. Secret number 17. The secret of inner peace is not coveting what others have, but knowing that what is yours by right will find its way to you. And in brackets, Swamiji says, if you do your part willingly to attract it. So, not coveting what others have. If you have studied the Yama Niyamas, the Niyama, one of the Niyamas is non-covetousness. That if you follow those Yama Niyamas, your peace actually doesn't get dissipated, which you attain through meditation. So, not coveting what others have. Why? Some people might say, I like what he has, I might take it away, but why won't you take it? Because it goes back to the basic teaching that we don't need anything outside of ourselves to make us happy. If we think that this thing or that thing will make me happy, we are putting conditions of our own happiness, putting conditions of our own peace, even when we don't need it. So if we covet what others have, we are saying, oh, I don't have it. So till the time I have it, I won't be at peace. And that way we are pushing our own peace away. So it is tough. I know there are desires and sometimes you have to fulfill them because they might be necessary also. A desire for food is not a useless desire if you are not free from the need for food. So whatever is yours by right will find its way to you. How come that? Because if we go to the deepest essential truth, we came from God, so the universe belongs to God. By inheritance, it also belongs to us. But to claim that inheritance, we need to tune into our sacred heritage, which is tune into our Heavenly Father and Divine Mother. In that consciousness, it doesn't really matter whether anything is with us or not. We are everyone. What others possess, by extension, we possess. We are happy in their own happiness, in their happiness. A great affirmation for this, which I like to do, is I will go forth in perfect faith in the power of omnipresent good to bring me what I need at the time I need it. That way, I don't really have to worry about anything. I just affirm this. I have faith in God, and if God wants to give me something, God will give me something, even if I don't know I need it. Paramahansa Yogananda ji said, whatever comes of itself, let it come. This is in tune with this teaching also. Because if you keep seeking other things, it will just take your mind away from your center and you won't be having peace. Try it out, see how it works for you. And it's always a learning process with all of these teachings. This is a fun one. Secret of inner peace is never complaining, but acknowledging that what life gives you depends on what you give first of yourself. I will repeat again. Secret of inner peace is never complaining, but acknowledging that what life gives you depends on what you give first of yourself. Swamiji explains it beautifully. He says, whatever you project into the world, whatever thoughts, actions, words you give to the world, you will see similar things might come back to you also. It is the law of magnetism. The intensity and the energy with which you do things is the intensity and energy with which they will come to you also. So if you always complain about things, the universe will see, oh, this person likes to complain a lot. Let's give this person more opportunities to complain. So instead of getting solutions for your complaints, you will get more complaints and complaints. So it is an attitude. I mean, no one likes a complaining person. It just brings the energy down. And even in our own mind, it is a kingdom. There are citizens. Some citizens are good advisors to the king of higher consciousness. Some citizens are complainers. They say, this is not right, that is not right. It is acceptable to recognize if something is not working, but then we shouldn't keep on complaining. We should start trying to improve things calmly, patiently. If we just keep complaining, we won't have any peace. We will just trying to nitpick everything. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one should try to calm the carping spirit, the complaining spirit. So if we give out peace, if we live in contentment, satisfaction with whatever is, we'll see the universe responding to that and always making our own opportunities or experiences more in alignment with that. Because we are not alone, we are connected to everything. What we put out will come back to us. So acknowledging what life gives you depends on what you give first of yourself. A fun experience with me is that in school there would be tests and exams. So sometimes I would be well prepared, sometimes not well prepared. So in either case, I would try to always go in any exam or test with a positive attitude that everything will turn out fine. Removing all negative thoughts, all complaining thoughts doesn't matter. It will be good. And with that positive energy and attitude, I will go for the exams. And always it will happen that when with that attitude I do anything, I would attract the situation which would affirm that attitude. So if I was not well prepared, and the exam would have obviously would have questions, I would attract the questions for which I was prepared instead of the ones for which I wasn't prepared. So it is, I think, the law of magnetism. And if even if you're well prepared and your attitude is still like, oh, I couldn't do that, maybe you're focusing on the negative, it won't go as better. You will attract that negative part only. Depends on the energy, of course, but still, it's always good. Try it out, see how it works for you. The secret of inner peace is accepting responsibility for your failures and realizing that only you can turn them into successes. True, isn't it? We all fail in different things we try. If you really want to succeed at something, the chances are in the beginning you won't encounter success. If it is a difficult thing, you will encounter stages where you're trying something, it is not happening. You are again trying something, it is not happening. So what do? First of all, not to be upset, because then you would just focus on the failure. Try to reflect why it happened. Try to improve it. it gives you inner peace if you're trying to overcome your failure calmly and patiently, because if you're doing it in an upset mood, you won't have the energy to overcome it. You won't have the solution for it, because solution consciousness is higher than problem consciousness. So you have to raise your energy. It takes practice, it takes a certain resilience, tenaciousness, not giving up when things get difficult, and trying. Now, I have also experienced failures many times in things which didn't really matter to me. I would just accept it and move on. But if the thing really mattered to me, I would never give up trying to succeed at it, even if I fail 1,000 times or more. That is the secret for inner peace and also spiritual progress. It is a battlefield. You have to be a warrior, and a warrior never gives up. Even if the warrior has to lay its life to achieve victory, a warrior will try till the very end. So is with spiritual progress too. So is with getting inner peace too. One example I experienced with that was learning to chant on a harmonium. I'm not a musician, never was one. So when I started trying to chant on a harmonium, initially it was so difficult. Playing the keys, singing along with the tones, reading the chants, and everything was foreign to me. But I tried, didn't work, tried, didn't work, kept trying. And I cannot say I was able to do it by my own effort. Eventually, God saw me sludging, and God saw that something needs to be done. This guy is never going to get it. So God's grace came, and I was able to do it eventually. Still, I'm not perfect at it. I'm still not a musician, but I'm improving every time I practice. So accepting responsibility for your failures and realizing that only you can turn them into successes. Little successes, then bigger ones, and keep trying. When you do go through this whole process as a means to inner peace, you will see how effective it is if you try to improve upon your failures. Another one, after that, we will move on to Brahmachari Prem Das. So, secret number 20, the secret of inner peace is found in self conquest, not in the mere cessation of hostilities. It's interesting, isn't it? Found in self conquest, not in the mere cessation of hostility. So if you're at war and the enemy says, "Oh, I'm bored, I will just walk away," and so the hostilities have stopped, but that is a passive peace. That peace doesn't last if you haven't found victory over your own self. If you haven't actively put out the energy to achieve that peace, the passive peace will not last. You will experience it, but it won't last. How do I explain this? Okay. So, for example, you are in a rainy day, thunderous storms and everything, and it is very disturbing to you. While that storm is going on, you are not at peace. When the storm stops, you are at peace because the outward thing has stopped. That peace is passive peace. But if you, during the storm, if you had maintained that strong peace, like no matter what outside everything is going on, I will actively try to be peaceful, projecting it, as last time we learned, projecting peace outward. If you try to do that, finding it within, that would be self-conquest. Suppose you are going to work daily and the environment is hostile, not literally, but in a certain way it is hostile. And you think, oh, I cannot wait to get back to home after work because the environment is not what I want, not peaceful. So yes, after you get back to home, you will feel peace, but it is not inner active peace. It is the passive peace. The only way you can claim victory there, self-conquest, is not being affected by outward things. For that, there are many things which you can try. Meditating, holding on to that peace, projecting it outward, inwardly communing with God, trying to see God in everyone, and so on and so forth. Trying to project joy in whatever you are doing also helps. So it is a gradual process. You apply these things, you practice these things, and you will get there. True inner peace, true self-conquest will come only in God, only when you are free completely. Before that, there are always a directional stages where you have a certain level of peace, because as long as there is ego, there will be things which will take your peace away. So we all are trying that. I am not perfect, but I will get there too eventually. Why not now? But we keep trying. One personal experience in this is self-found in self-conquest is dealing with physical pain. In sometimes when I experience physical pain, intense ones, when the pain is there, it's difficult to be peaceful. When the pain is not there, that is the cessation of hostilities. So peace would be there, but that is passive peace. How do you bring self-conquest there? So I tried different things, what Master suggested, and so on and so forth, trying to rise above the pain by recognizing, by going within, and not directing your mind somewhere else. Like the thought of pain is the thought. So you remove that thought, focus on something else, it will stop troubling you. So different things you try to achieve self-conquest and inner peace. So one secret which I found out, which even Swamiji says, is with respect to physical pain is, if you go to the center of a physical pain, the pain disappears there at the very center. If you still feel pain, go even deeper to the center of it, and there is no pain. So that is one gradual direction for self-conquest and attaining inner peace. So with that, I will pass it on to Brahmachari Premdas. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brahmachari Ramesh, for such inspiration and all his experiences. I think we all can relate more and be able to apply it in our own life. So thank you again for joining us and supporting in this journey as we all try to find more and more of inner peace, and as we all try to develop this quality, and we all are going together, walking each other home, is how a saint said. So today I've chosen these 2 points. So I'm going to start with the point 21. The secret of inner peace is practicing willingness even though your mental habits urge you to cry no. The secret of inner peace is practicing willingness even though your mental habits urge you to cry no. I was watching a Swamiji's video, and I'm going to start with that. So in this video, I'm just going to change the little circumstance so that it relates more to all of us here. And so let's imagine a situation where you're going to work, and it was on a Wednesday, and somehow there is this project completion coming up soon, and you had to work from morning, let's say 9 a.m. till almost 8 p.m. and then you had to come home, and somehow it turned out to be your son's. Let's say you had a son and his birthday he's like 3-4 years old, and you're inviting all these family people, and all of these people are going to come home, and you'd arrange some things, and you take up all the time, and then you start arranging for it, and somehow all the guests starts coming in. You've been a good host, and the party somehow goes till 2 a.m. or something, till you clear out everything, and the whole day, your morning started around 5 a.m. and now it's around 2 a.m. and now the next day work starts again at 6-7, so you still get up somehow with little, the energy starts decreasing. By the time it's afternoon lunch break, energy is going a little more low, and by the evening after you complete your office, you're almost like, okay, now it's time to go home and rest. And suddenly you come back to home and you'll see all these things to do. Putting things all aside, it's still not done. There's so many dishes also in your sink. Somehow the maid is on leave due to COVID. So now you happen to have all these things to do. So now what happens? You just lie down on bed and say, okay, now it's done. I'm going to just rest. And suddenly your mobile starts ringing. And it's your friend who's just visiting India, your city, for just one day, who is one of your best childhood memories filled with this person. And this person is just visiting for a few hours. And this person invites you to join for a dinner. And suddenly you don't know how, suddenly there's energy, there's willingness to meet this person, to just spend some time. And then you get up, you start getting ready, you start taking on your bag and you start going to that place. Where did this energy come from? What happened to all that, all that tension, all that energy sucking which was happening, and where did all this new inspiration, enthusiasm come? So now, when we look at this, it's like you wanted something really to do it. The dishes were not really part of it. So where there's a will, there is a way. And like Paramahansa Yogananda ji used to say the axiom, the greater the willpower, the greater the energy, the greater the willpower, the greater the energy. And so what is happening here? And also again, here again, I'm trying to get this point across that this willingness, which I'm trying to focus more here, which we are trying to focus more here, is not filled up with tension. You're not grinding your teeth like, yeah, I need to do it. Or it's not because of your non-willingness here. It's something you want to do from the depth of your heart. In the beginning, when you don't want to do something and you're pushing yourself, then there is some tension. But when you start to like whatever you want to do, sometimes there are things that you may not really want to do, but you have to do. Why not bring up? With practice, you'll be able to change your mind and you'll be able to do whatever you need, whatever is needed. That also comes with practice. But now again, I'm going to narrate a small incident in Yogananda ji's life. I think at one point, a person, a reporter, I think, he asked him, can inspiration be drawn at will? And Yogananda ji said yes, and please take down. He was just doing many things, and suddenly this person asked this question, can inspiration be drawn at will? And he said yes. Why don't you take down? I'm going to narrate you a poem, recite a poem to you. And he recited the poem at that moment, just tuning into the inspiration at will, and he took it down, and that was one of the poems, like really good poems. It came out so beautiful that even after some time when this review was happening, those were one of the few poems that a different person said that he really loved those poems, and this was one of the poem which came at that instant, which when Yogananda ji attracted it at will. So Swamiji says you can, with practice, be able to draw this inspiration, be able to draw this willingness by training your mind. It comes by practice. And like among all that, Ananda has so many acharyas, right? So we have all acharyas from many center leaders, everyone. As I'm growing up, I get to meet many of them. And one of the Brahmachari Aditya is one of the inspirations for me in terms of willingness. So there is so much of willingness in him that once I asked him, what is the secret for this willingness? And from what I remember, I think he has many more things, but what I took that day was, he said, Premdas, willingness is again all these points which I already said about being willing, being you really wanting to do it. But he said it comes with practice. He had to cultivate it. It did not come just one day. It had to be cultivated over some time. And now he's able to be willing and be able to do more. And even I and all of us here who are practicing these teachings are being able to do more, being more willing, because willingness is so important on our path to do what is needed to be done, like to be attuning to Master's ray and more, to be able to do all of these things, morning meditation, energization, and to be willing, even sometimes when your mind is a little tired and restless, and just doing few of the energization exercises, and then you'll find energy to complete the rest. Please try this if you haven't tried. Some days you don't feel like doing energization exercises, just tell your mind, I'm just going to do first 2 or 3 exercises. Start doing them. Suddenly you'll start feeling this energy to try to do more. Where does this energy come from? Again, now this is a whole, the master developed this energization exercises, and as energy keeps flowing, it keeps increasing and you want to do more. So this willingness. Then one more small point which I wanted to tell was, Swamiji also says that just by changing this attitude in his mind, whenever he had to do whenever he faced any situation which he did not have the mind to do, with this change in attitude, that just converting that task or action to make it more meaningful or to make it more pleasant and worthwhile, he was able to get that willingness and energy and to do that task even all through the night if need be. I think when you think of any greats in any fields, let's say sports people or any, let's say, who develops all these technologies, they all really love what they do. That's one secret. And also what keeps them going, this willingness and energy, so much energy to drive these projects, is this love with what they do. And also all these points, for example, whatever we said of willingness and energy, the greater the will, the greater the energy, and making it, like Swamiji said, worthwhile. It just brings so much meaning to them to do that. For example, for a, let's say, sports person, for him it's so worthwhile that when he plays, he just feels that it's the most worthwhile thing to make his country proud. And in the same way, this person who wants to bring this technology to the world just feels it's so worthwhile to help people with ease of doing things. He thinks he can make this change and make the world a better place this way. Okay, thank you. And as so it's very important. So this quality of willingness is so much close to my heart for sure, because this is just a practice which each and every day I have to work with for anything. So you also please experiment with willingness, with energy, and with how to develop it gradually. It's like Aditya ji said, can develop it gradually. So maybe today you're able to do this, but over a few months, when you keep practicing it, you'll be able to do more. Whatever is needed and asked, sometimes we have to do it to be more in tune. And so the next point which I'm going to read to you is point number 16. The secret of inner peace is accepting truth in all circumstances as your guide. The secret of inner peace is accepting truth in all circumstances as your guide. It's more like telling, let truth be your guide. So in our life, there are many times, I think all our life sometimes is most of our day goes in sometimes making right choices. We have so many things to do many times, and many times we have to do is make choices. We have to choose something here, choose something there. But when it comes to worthwhile things, let's say in your office or in your family or anything really important, then what has helped me to make truth my guide, or is trying to attune to God and masters after my meditation, trying to bring that peace and joy, and trying to be more in touch with that qualities. And then whenever these choices have to be made, I just keep going back into that center, like Brahmachari Ramesh said, how important it is to go back to the center. And then from there, trying to act on it. Maybe if you don't feel anything, there are some days when we don't feel that inner guidance, maybe just pray to them and just tell them, I'm your child, I know, but please help me to make the right choice, and I'm your child. And things start working out. And things start working out. So I have one more minute. So also one more point which comes to my mind when about making truth your guide is Swamiji telling, as we keep progressing in this age of energy, Dwapar Yuga, in which we are, the religion will become more inward compared to joining any particular church. It meaning people would be joining church to learn more how to deeply love God, rather than as a status telling that I am a member of this particular church, I'm a member of this particular thing. So it's like, as we keep growing in this Dwapar Yuga, I think we all have already started practicing this inward religion. We know how important it is and how beneficial it is. And as all the world starts guiding and getting more in tune with these things, then the institutions will lose this thing. And then the truth will become more of a guide rather than some institutional powers or some points, even though some of them can be beneficial. So again, thank you, Brahmachari Ramesh, and thank you all of you